My name is Anne-Marie Monaghan. I am 52 years old, I'll be 53 in April, and I absolutely love sport. I suffer from secondary progressive MS. I have been involved after the Commonwealth Games last year, setting up the first all-women's wheelchair basketball team in the country. It's for women over the age of 16 who want to get involved in sport, who have previously been involved in sport and who have a range of barriers that prevent them from being involved in sport. So we've set up this team to actively encourage them to get much more active. One of the biggest challenges to access anywhere for exercise is often a physical challenge about the layout of the building or the steps that you need to get up to get inside. Sometimes it's difficult if you're in a gym and you're using machinery. There are also the prejudice and the discriminatory behaviour of others that can make it really difficult for you to be included. There are ways round about that. Sometimes when people realise that you're just another person like them who just happen to use a wheelchair, then that all can drift away and you become included as part of what people would normally do. I've always been really sporty, and before I had to use a wheelchair and before I was diagnosed with MS, I did a lot of sport. I played hockey, I played netball, I fenced, I swam, I ran. I used to climb up hills and conquered a few Munros in my days. And then I had a huge period of time where I did no exercise from my early 40s onwards. And a lot of that was because I was managing a long-term condition. And then at the Commonwealth Games last year, I got completely inspired and thought, you know what, I want to be doing sport again. And that really motivated me to get back out there, and it's the best thing I did. I realised how much better I actually feel for getting out and for being busy and being active and having a reason to be involved with a whole bunch of other people doing something that we all enjoy. It's not easy when you're having to work really hard to do things that other people take for granted. I think if you work hard at it, but you need to want to be able to do it. And it's really easy to sit around and not do anything and to complain and think lives beat you up a bit and it's tough. But actually it's much more rewarding when you can get out and about, do things and be involved with other people, and just that feel-good factor, that whole thing about being connected and not being isolated is really important. What I enjoy most about the team is the camaraderie, the whole fact that we go away together, we spend weekends when we're playing together, we do some social events together, we have such a good laugh. When we train on a Monday, we spend 2 hours laughing, so that in itself is really good fun. And they're all just a bunch of people who, many of them have physical disabilities and many of us don't. So it's an inclusive sport that means you can play alongside friends who are not disabled because of the way the classification system works. If you're facing a barrier to exercise, I would be thinking that you have to be clear about what that barrier is. Sometimes we become our own barriers. We worry too much about what other people think, or else we worry about whether or not we'll actually be able to do it. And sometimes once you get out there, you can do much more than you think you can do, and our own lack of belief in ourselves sometimes can be the biggest challenge. So there's something about really pushing yourself out with your boundary and out with your comfort zone. I've seen huge changes in our fellow teammates, and people can tell their own story, but we've had some women who have spent a lot of their time being indoors and being isolated. We've had one woman who hadn't been out with anyone other than her family in over 7 years. She'd lost that connection with her friends and the people that she'd previously worked with because she'd become very unwell and subsequently was a wheelchair user. And now she's re-engaging in a whole range of different ways with a different range of people and feeling really confident about that. It doesn't matter what sport it is or what activity it is, it's what you enjoy.